All right, hello again, and welcome back to English for Academic Purposes Advanced Writing course. This is our second week, and what I want to do today is to take a look at the pre-writing process. This is not new. You've done this before, but I would like to take a look at it from an academic level, a little bit more focused, a little bit more specific to what we need to do to narrow down, to improve our writing skills, okay? Let's take a look, and we're going to be looking at our book. We're going to move to page 265, Appendix A. And if you look in your book on page 265, it's Appendix A right here, way back in the back. And it's called The Process of Academic Writing. All right. The authors point out to you that academic writing is not the same kind of writing you do when you write personal things. It is different from your personal writing. Many times when you begin a writing course in a foreign language, the textbooks kind of focus on your personal experience because that helps you to develop vocabulary, to develop writing skills, to look at different ways of the processes of writing, the cause and effect that you have in different personal experiences, the comparison contrast of two different things that you have or you do. It's easier for you to generate ideas from your personal experience when you're starting out. However, for academic writing, we cannot rely on personal writing or personal experience. Remember that academic writing is focusing on topics that are particular to a study, English, language, teaching, science, and so we have to move away from our personal experiences in order to write about something that is much more objective, okay? It's different from literary writing. It's not like script writing or play writing or poetry or story writing, okay? Those types of writing are very important, very necessary for us. But for academic writing, you have to, again, shift your attention away from literary writing. It's different from journalistic writing that you do for newspapers where you're giving the specific facts quickly. You give major facts and you repeat them, and you give another set of facts and you repeat it. It's different from that. And so what we're going to look at today is what is the focus of academic writing. The focus is on the audience. Your topic is directed to a specific type of reader. Who is going to be reading this? Now, for the time being, of course, it's just your teacher, and so your focus is that, or on your peers. But as you develop your skills in writing in English, you will need to be writing, particularly if you go on for higher education, you will have to write a journal article for a journal that is important in the field of your choice. So your audience is going to be persons who are professional in your field, all right? The tone is also going to be a focus that you have to rely upon for academic writing. Is it going to be very formal? Is it going to be more informal? It depends, again, on your audience and your purpose. Why are you writing this article? Are you writing this article because you have done a study and you are going to publish this in the university journal? Or you're going to publish this in a school newspaper, school journal. You want to maybe do a presentation for a conference, okay? Many times teachers will invite upperclassmen in the undergraduate level to help them with a workshop. And you may have to do a presentation. And so you have to write up something that will be pertaining to a specific audience. It may be formal, it may be informal, and the purpose is to give information about the topic of your workshop. So those are three things that will help us to focus on our academic writing. Okay. The focus on the audience, what does that mean? These are the people who will read what you have written, all right? And the tone, of course, whoops, go up there, a style or manner of expression. How do you, how will you express what you're going to say? Is the tone, again, depending upon who your audience is, if your audience is your class, and your classmates are paying attention to you and you're doing this for a class project, it may be a little more friendly. It may be a little more informal. If you're doing a presentation for other teachers, you want to have a little more formality. So the style and the manner of expression will be also important. Okay? Your tone is going to depend upon your choice of words. The more formal, the more difficult your words are going to be. You're going to be using more complex sentence structures. You're going to be using more difficult words, synonyms that will express what you want to express at a higher level. You will make your sentences a little more complex, compound sentence. You'll be using sentence structures that are not so simple. Why? Because you have an audience who is an upper level audience. All right? If you're writing something for your classmates and you want to make sure everybody understands, then your choice of words will be simpler. Will include all of the vocabulary that you already know and that you can express on a much more informal level. So your choice of words is also going to be selected by the tone of your writing. Your grammatical structures are going to be affected. Again, as I mentioned, you may, for an audience of teachers or professionals, you want to have a more complex structure. For an audience of your peers, you may have a less complex structure. Your grammatical structures will be simpler. Your sentence structures, your choice of vocabulary will be simpler. Okay, not that and it doesn't mean that one is better than the other, or one is right and one is wrong. You look at the audience. To whom are you speaking? To whom are you writing? All right. We're going to be looking at writing here. So who is going to be the intended audience? That will help determine what is your tone, what is your style, your choice of words, your grammatical structures. Okay. Again, your length of sentences. When you graduate, you go into graduate school and you have to work on formal papers for your professors. You're going to have a lot more information that you're going to pack into your compositions than you had to do before. Therefore, your length of sentences might be much longer. You might have many more sentence structures of compound, complex sentences. Right? But again, that depends upon your audience and your purpose. We're going to look at purpose here. What is the subject matter? If the subject matter is much more focused on scientific development, then your sentence structures are going to reflect that. If you're talking about research that you have done in language study, maybe you did a report, you did a study on use of certain grammatical structures by high school students. Well, your subject matter and your audience is going to help you to determine what is the style, what is the choice of words, what grammatical structures do you need, how long sentences do you need. Remember that just because you use long sentences doesn't mean you have an excellent writing, that you have an excellent paper. But longer sentences do help to convey a much more complex idea. And we'll learn how to do that. We'll learn when to use it and when not to use it. We don't want to have long sentences that don't really make sense. Okay. So all of this, the tone is going to depend on your style, your choice of words, your grammatical structure, your length of sentences, and the subject matter and the audience. Okay? What is the purpose of your writing? For academic writing, it's usually school, okay? But the purpose will determine the rhetorical form. Rhetorical forms such as process. Are you doing definitions? Are you doing analysis? Okay. Cause and effect. Are you looking at something that is the result of something else? Are you looking at something that's going to cause something else? What are your focus? The purpose is going to determine which form you're going to use. All right? Will you use narration? Will you use description? Will you use exposition? Will you use persuasion? Again, that depends upon the purpose, and the purpose then will also have an effect on your tone, and your tone is going to be affected by your audience. Okay? So, let's take a look. All of that now is on page 265. And if you look at step 1 in the creating process, the pre-writing process, you've done this before. We call it brainstorming, we call it all kinds of things, you know. And one of the things that we do, the reason we do pre-writing is because we need to be able to think about all the possibilities of our topic. When you are confronted with a test, you don't have time to do that. But when you're able to write your own essay about a topic that you have selected or a general topic that you've been given, you have the time to really look at all aspects of that topic. Even if you're given the topic by your teacher, a general topic, you can choose within that general topic a more specific one, which is something that is attractive to you. You can choose a topic of interest, because if you're interested in it, you're willing to put the time into it, okay? If you're not sure what interests you, well, you know, think about what is the topic, and then maybe, well, look at some magazines, look at some things. What kind of programs do you normally watch about this topic on TV? If you read anything in the newspaper or in a magazine, you know, what's your focus there? So in the pre-writing, we're going to be looking at the general topic, and we're going to move from a general topic to the specific topic. Pre-writing also includes brainstorming. You know, you have your main topic, and you think of everything you can think about that goes with that topic, and you write it down. You put it down so that you don't lose it. You may not use 2/3 of what you've written down. You may not use more than 2 points of what you've written down, but have it written down there, because as you develop your topic, it will help you to see other avenues that you can include in a longer essay. Okay. Where are you? Come on. All right. Another thing that we can do for brainstorming is listing. We have free writing. We have clustering, and the book tells you all kinds of good things that you can do with that. When we plan, we outline, we list the main points of the subject, the subpoints, excuse me. You have the main points of your essay or your paragraph, and then the subpoints, which is just supporting sentences, and then how you're going to write about them, right? And that includes your supporting sentences, your supporting paragraphs, and your conclusion. When it's time for you to write, you take all these things that you've written down and looked at, and you write a rough draft. What happens usually is we write a rough draft, and that's what we give our teachers, okay? Really, that's not a good idea. Why? Because you write your rough draft, and as you're writing it, different ideas start coming into your mind, but you don't have time, see, because you have to write this paper, you have to give it in, and it's due tomorrow, and you have to type it out tonight. But what is a good idea is to write your rough draft maybe the night you get the assignment. Write it down. And then let it sit there for a little bit, a day or so, and then you go back to it, all right? You revise it. You look at it, because now you've had a chance, you read it again, you say, oh, you know what, I think I would like to add something to that. You know, this, maybe I don't like this part. I think I want to put something else. You get ideas. And so what happens is you revise and you organize your paper a little bit more, all right? You proofread your revised drafts. You have a second draft. You rewrite that paper. See, you write your rough draft, and then you revise it, you rewrite it. You have a second draft. Now, your second draft is going to be closer to the draft that you're going to hand to your teacher. All right? You proofread it. You look to make sure all the sentences, are they complete sentences? You look to see all the spelling. Maybe there's some spelling the spell check didn't catch because you spelled the word is spelled correctly, but it's the wrong form of the word, you know? It should be T-H-E-R-E, not T-H-E-I-R, right? So, there, you know. Or it could be they are, T-H-E-Y, apostrophe R-E. You know? Okay. Spell check's not going to catch that because you spelled it right, but it doesn't belong there. Go over your drafts and make sure it's spelled correctly. Now that second draft might be your final draft, but go through and check it. And then go to your computer, correct the errors that you have in it, and then that can be your final copy. Okay? All right. Now, if you're going to give a topic, you have a topic, and let's say the topic is environment. Oh, that's a big topic. You can talk about anything in the environment. I mean, no, it's as big as the globe as far as a topic to be written about. It's really too big, and so we have to narrow it down. So what do? We probably will say, okay, what in the environment can we look at? Well, pollution, all right? And our book has the same thing. His environment has pollution, all right? The book talks about ocean pollution. I'm not too interested in ocean pollution. I would like to look at air pollution because I am more affected by air pollution than I am by ocean pollution. Not that the ocean pollution doesn't affect me, but, you know, every day I walk outside and, whew, you know, if the air is too smoky or if it's not clean or, you know, I can't breathe, that affects me. So I want to take a look. I'm going to write about air pollution. Okay. Now, air pollution is still big. I have to narrow that down a little bit more, okay? Most of the air pollution that I encounter comes from motorcycles, trucks, cars, vehicles, okay? You know, you're walking around, you know when a truck goes by you or a bus that goes by you and you can't breathe. Why? The emission is smoky, is terrible smelling. You notice when you go out, a lot of people wear masks when they're driving their motorcycles or when they're walking on the street. Why? They can't breathe. The emissions are not clean. And so I'm gonna focus on vehicle emissions, and I want to see how that affects our plant life. Our plants are nature's wonders. They help to clean the air for us. That's why we want to keep green plants around. We want to keep a lot of big green trees because they help to clean the air. But what is the quality of the air doing to many of our trees and bushes and flowering plants? So that's what I'm going to work on. So I've gone from the environment, the big topic of the environment, and moved down through pollution. All right. Now you can talk about the environment and the development of the you know, different atmospheres and different scenic places, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about pollution. Okay. Well, pollution is a big topic, so let's see what focus on pollution I can do. Well, air pollution, that's interesting to me. It affects me in my daily life. And what kind of air pollution am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about vehicle emissions because I know that in many cities, especially if you've got a big city, you've got a lot of cars, buses, trucks, motorcycles, and they are constantly putting out bad air, you know, and they're polluting the air. I know the effect on me. It makes me feel unable to breathe. I cough a lot. But what about plants? You know, plants are taking in all of this bad air, and they're trying to clean it for us and give us back good oxygen out into the air. So I'm going to work on the effects of plant life. Now you notice now that this is not Anything personal to me, I mean, it affects me, but I'm not talking about my personal experience. I'm going to be focusing on the effect of plants, effect of the pollution on plant life, all right? So in your book, the authors give you some large topics that you can do the same kind of narrowing down. For example, with school. School is a huge topic. It can be school from your elementary through high school. It can be school meaning the system, the school system. It can say school meaning the buildings that we have. It can be many, many things. So you can narrow those down. How about sports? Oh, that's a really big topic. You can talk about all kinds of sports. There's water sports, there are ball sports, there's Olympic sports. So big, very big. Here you have sports there, then you move it down to the next level, and then even if you look at only sports that involve a ball, a lot of sports have balls. Then you're going to move it down to which kind of balls? Little balls, big balls, footballs, basketballs, baseball, all right? And then you move it down until you get down to the topic that you're going to write about, okay? All right. Okay. And then food. Food is another huge category that can be brought down into a workable topic. Now, the authors tell you that if you do things such as journal writing, listing, and free writing, that will help you to kind of hold on to your ideas. I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I'll be doing something. Maybe I'm washing dishes, or I'm cleaning my clothes, or I'm getting ready for bed, or I'm making my bed, or I'm walking along or something, and I get an idea about something, and I think, oh, you know what? That would be a really good topic for me to write about. And then I meet somebody and I talk to them, and then we get up to the building and I'm getting ready for, that idea is gone. Just right out of my head. Okay? What do? I've discovered that if I keep a little, now some of you have one of the cell phones, you see you can write these little notes down. I have a little notebook. And every time I get a really good idea, I'll sometimes pull it out and I'll say, oh, I want to write this down. Topic for an essay, or topic for a class discussion or something. I write it down, okay, and I put it in my pocket. I don't have that notebook anymore. I just keep little pieces of paper and I stuff it in here because the notebook gets too bulky for me. But I have little pieces of paper and I stick it in my pocket, and I have that. You have these smartphones, so you get a good idea. Jot it down. Take out your cell phone. Use your cell phone to help you with the study. Say, here, ideas for writing class. Write it down. What's that going to do? That's going to help you when you have to talk about a topic, and you can say, I don't know what to write about. What am I going to write about? Aha. Whip out that cell phone, look at and there it is. There are several ideas that you have gotten over maybe a couple of days, a week, and again, can help you in your writing class, okay? Again, write the general topic. For brainstorming, we're going to do listing here, and this is gives the example of this on page 267. Okay. I'm going to go quickly here. What are you going to do? You're going to write the general topic, okay? You have an idea. Let's go back over with the pollution about the effects on the plant life, all right? That's my topic. I'm going to put that at the top. Every idea I can think of, the effects of pollution on plant life. Well, number one, the leaves get dusty, and they get grime on them. They can't breathe, The air is too thick, and sometimes the trees just can't absorb all of that, and it affects the groundwater. So then they can't get clean water, and then they begin to turn brown. It affects the amount of water that they have, and all these things. I'm just put ideas down. Okay, list every idea you can think of underneath that topic, and use words, phrases, sentences. Don't worry about if you know how to spell. I don't know how to spell oceanic breezes. I don't know how to spell. Oh, that's okay. Just put it down there. I don't know how to spell vehicle emissions. Maybe I'm not spelling that correctly. Too bad. Just put it down. Just get it down there right away. All right, so that you have a list of words and phrases that match that topic. Okay. Then go back and rewrite the list, grouping similar ideas, crossing out the ideas that don't belong. And if you look on page 267, all right, the authors have chosen a topic called culture shock. And they've written down several ideas that can be affected by culture shock. And for example, communication problems, poor verbal skills, children are disrespectful, new language, families seldom eat together, lack of vocabulary, show affection in public, people are always in a hurry, on and on. Okay. Now, those are the ideas that the person got from being in a culture for the first time. These are all the ideas. Now, we're going to take a look. Some of these belong together. For example, some of them are listed under communication problems. Some of them are, as you go along, you can see, are classroom environment. Some of them are the culture's family life. This one happens to be about America, people who studied in America, and American family life. It could be people who are studying here, who are exchange students coming to Taiwan, and they can have their experience of Taiwanese family life. What are their experiences, okay? And so you list them under those things. Now, all the things that belong to Group A, all the things that belong to Group B, all the things that belong to Group C, you might even have a Group D, you know? Cross out the items that don't belong under there. You can't, it doesn't fit with any category. For example, under communication problems, poor verbal skills, a new language, lack of vocabulary, show affection in public. Well, show affection in public doesn't really belong there. It doesn't belong with classroom environment, and it doesn't belong with family life. Oh, okay, we'll say that for something else. Okay, Americans talk too fast. They're friendly. People are always in a hurry. Well, they're friendly. That's nice, but that doesn't really belong to communication problems. If people are friendly, that's not a problem. You might want to stick it under maybe classroom environment. You might want to put it under something else, or you might just want to get rid of it. You don't need it. Okay. So if you look there, it shows you some of the things that don't belong with anything, and so get rid of it. You don't need it. Focus. What you're trying to do now is you're trying to focus down to 3, maybe 2, 3, no more than 4 areas that can be then used for the topic of your paragraph, your longer essay, your supporting information. See, that's how you build up your paragraphs for your longer essays. Okay. Free writing. Free writing is exactly what that says. You write the topic at the beginning of the top of your paper, and you write everything you can about it. Whatever. Well, come on. It's going to get here pretty soon. Okay. All right. You want to include facts and details, examples. This free writing is going to help you to build up your pool of supporting sentences. All right? This will help you to get ideas of, here's your topic. All right, let's continue with the topic of culture shock. Okay, you start writing all the things that you experienced about culture shock. In your free writing, you're going to be coming from your own experiences. All right. So what is it? What is your experience? What is your idea? What have you felt in culture shock? And then you write that all down. All right. You include your facts, your details, your examples of your ideas. All right. Where are you? Okay. Well, everything came up. Then go back and circle the main idea that could be developed. What of all that you've said here, what is your What's going to be your main idea? Well, you know, culture shock is a very big topic. You don't want to use that, but maybe something within the sentences that you wrote about some facts or details or examples could help you to focus down onto one particular aspect of culture shock that you want to develop in your essay. Take that main idea, and now